Hi Taurus, this is Kay. You're on the Collective Soul Tarot channel. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to your reading. It's lovely to be here with you guys today. I hope you had a good weekend. Let's start. What does Archangel Michael want you to know today, Taurus? Archangel Michael, Holy Spirit, what is it that Taurus needs to know today? Shelter. Okay, shelter. This is the wild hare, the magic cottage, and it's the wild hare who's the main character who tells a story. Now, shelter. Somebody finds shelter in a barrel of water. This character here. That's being fed from the outside, like, you know, off the rooftop with the rain into a water barrel that then can be used for water inside the house. Okay, shelter. Well, I'll read the description once I get the rest of the cards out. Shelter, Taurus. Okay, let's find out what Major Arcana wants to speak to this. Archangel Michael, shelter. We have the Tower. Yeah, you need shelter from the Tower for sure. Now, if it was the Lenormand, you'd seek shelter within the Tower, but this isn't Lenormand. So by withstanding the coming challenges, your future will be bright. Seeing things as you want them to be in order to make them become that way. Yeah, so basically manifesting what it is that you really want to experience by focusing on what it is that you want to experience. But not, it's really tricky with this whole manifestation thing, is that because our mind is very clever. It's complex. And so when we are thinking about what we want, automatically, like it's by default, unless you really put some real time and effort into catching your automatic, your default setting. Because once we say something like, I want to have, let's just as an example, I will have $1 million by next month. And your mind all in the background, in the operating system, the subconscious is saying, yeah, right, okay, sure. Or, you know, so it's practically causing the energy to become neutral now, because what the thought that you had in your mind was the good energy going out, because you said it in a positive and an affirmative way. I will have $1 million by next month. Like, it'd be best to start off with I will have $1,000 in my savings account by the end of next month. Something like that. It's more agreeable. But even then, still it'd be like your background mind wants to negate that. And so now you really haven't put out the energy, because, you know, when you put out good energy, but there's automatically comes in behind it some negative energy, it just, you know, it zeroes it out. So that's the problem with manifesting, is that we have this under the cover thinking. I don't know how else to say it. So clarification, please, for the Tower, Archangel Michael. Just something we all need to be aware of, because we've been thinking, I say it all the time, I believe it. But then what we're not saying or realizing is that our mind is basically fighting us on it. Because we go from the past, right? So we got the Page of Wands to clarify. So this is like good news. Page of Wands is good news. It's passionate pursuit of new page, right? After the Tower comes down. So there's a new beginning. With this idea of the mind having its way is just like it comes from the past. It comes from past experience, okay? So for example, if we have tried to manifest money before and it didn't show up, and it didn't show up, and it didn't show up, and the reason, and of course, you know, the caveat here is the reason it didn't show up is because of that neutralizing negative mind talk back, you know, like, oh no, you're not. Oh no, you're not. I'm going to have $1,000. Oh no, you're not. I'm going to have $1,000. Oh no, you're not. Oh, and so it's just, it's become habitual, especially if we don't catch it and don't start working on our you know, because it'd be optimism and pessimism, right? We'll start working on our pessimistic our habit of having pessimism as a default thought or a default setting in our mind. Like there's optimism, and then right away comes this pessimism, because it comes from past experiences. Like I said, it's like things haven't worked out for you up to this point. In terms of, let's just say, about the money, right? It's because you have tried it before, and it's been confirmed that you know, as they say, we're full of shite, right? You're full of shite about that, right? The mind is saying, yeah, you're just full of shite again. You know, it's just a habit. It's not anything that says that you're a bad person or wrong. Nothing about that. It happens to every single one of us. None of us are no different. If we really want to be able to manifest something, we have to be able to speak it out to the world, out to the universe that, you know, brings it in, you know, because it's like attract, like energy. We have to speak it to it in a way that we truly can believe it. So, you know, start off with a real manageable positive affirmation, like I will feel like, if you're not feeling better, if you're not feeling good and you just want to feel good, maybe you got fibromyalgia or something like that, well, I'm going to I'll be you know, might say I'll be walking around the block one time a day, and I will feel better by this time next month. Starting off with that, right? Just feeling better, like even if it's just a little bit better, you can believe in that because you're doing something about it. Same with putting money away. Maybe you can have $1,000 by the end of the month if you're able to put like $10 or $20. Let's see, how's that work? A day, 30 days in a month. Oh, I don't know. $10 a day is only $300. You know what I'm saying? So maybe $35 a day, but you know, who's got $35 coming in every day? So what you basically would have to do is $35 times 7. So by the week, if you get paid weekly, or $35 times 14 if you get paid every 2 weeks. So it's something that you've got to know is manageable for you, so that your default mind, your pessimistic mind, is not going to be able to come in and say, oh, you're full of shite, that kind of thing. Okay, let's get Taurus, let's get a wild unknown character to see what they've got to say about all of this. Seeking shelter. After the Tower. What do we got, Archangel Michael? We got a mouse. Okay, a mouse. I know in the Lenormand, mice usually mean loss. So we'll get there. We'll figure this out. I've got a little book for that too. So we're going to look at shelter right now. Wait a minute, went past it. Shelter, where are you? There we are. All right, so shelter. Step outside the back door of the magic cottage and you'll be confronted by a large oak water butt or barrel. Its drain pipe funneling life-giving rain for use on plants and herbs in the small walled garden beyond. As with all basic feats of engineering, I've always believed the simpler the better, and in many cases never bettered. Nature generously provides the rain, the roof catches it, the drain pipe delivers it into the waiting barrel below. Just beautifully, spectacularly simple. However, as a young magical hare, I was taught quite a different lesson about the water butt. For a while it demonstrates a life-giving simplicity. It also teaches us something far more magical about ourselves. Chatsworth, my master, described it thus as we sheltered from the rain inside, me peeping through the window at the rapidly filling barrel. There are times in your life, Matlock, when you need to be inside, safe and warm, while other things, events, circumstances, even feelings, rain down on you. During those times, it can be better to simply wait for the storm to pass. Let the roof of your mind keep all at bay as you funnel and collect the chaos to germinate and grow things that are good and magical instead. So it's just like talking about that optimism, pessimism, being able to, during those times when it's raining, right, emotions, it can be better to simply wait for the storm to pass. Let the roof of your mind keep all at bay as you funnel and collect the chaos to germinate and grow things that are good and magical. So whatever it is that you're reaching for, you're doing it for a reason, right? If you want $1,000 by the end of the month, next month, it's because you've got some goals, right? It could just simply be having an emergency fund, or having money for a vacation or something like that, or some event, who knows? But by feeling the lack of not having it, it inspires us to, like the Page of Wands, right? It inspires us to take leap into action, which is the Wands, taking leap into action to mediate that, to put action to goal action, put actions to goal setting. So action steps in your goal setting agenda. That would be things like you speaking to yourself, because we're always speaking to ourselves. We're either saying something negative or we're saying something positive. We're always it's self-talk. It's called self-talk. So we might want to get a handle on the negative self-talk by starting to really keep an eye on, to really look at what it is that we're thinking, because we have like 63,000 thoughts a day goes through our mind. It's on average, so it's more or less depending. So, and most of those, like 90% of those 63,000 are negative in nature, unfortunately. Yes, negative in nature. So it's about policing our own mind so that we can catch those subconscious beliefs that say, you're full of shite, it ain't ever going to happen, that kind of thing, okay? So that you do that, you catch the lack-minded thoughts so that you can get control of what your self-talk will be going forward, so that you do it in a way that is believable. Like I was saying, how do you eat an elephant, right? One little chunk at a time. That's the same idea. So you create action steps that are manageable, that you actually can see yourself doing. Okay, so he says, as you funnel and collect the chaos to germinate and grow things that are good and magical instead. He ruffled my long hair's ears. Every storm has a purpose. Every raindrop can be used to nourish the earth. What may seem glopped up at the time can often be used for good later on. Learn to collect your storms, Matlock. Funnel them. Use them wisely and for good purpose to bring nourishment to the earth and all those around you. For this is the wisdom of the humble water butt, the wisdom of the barrel. None of us can or will avoid life storms, but if we learn to collect the raindrops, we too can grow. So start collecting what nourishes you. So it would be the positive thinking. Start collecting. And that would be like, actually spending time during your day, whenever you have an opportunity to do so, because I'm sure you work, whatever, by saying things that are positive. So you start training your mind, teaching your mind to really just focus on positive things, whereby the negative self-talk, the negative back talk, the subconscious talk starts getting, it starts to transition. It starts becoming transitioned into positive underlying subconscious thinking, self-talk. So it's like transitioning, making the transition from being negative to wholly positive, basically, is what the effort you would want to put forward in order for you to become truly a master manifester of all things that you truly want to experience in your life, and not by default because of those negative pesky things that keep coming in and trumping your positive efforts, right? So learn to collect your storms, Matlock. Yep. For this is the wisdom of the humble water butt, the barrel. After the rain passed, I stood by the barrel, now full to the brim with sparkling clear water, catching the last drop as it fell from the drain pipe into my open paw, vowing that whenever rains came in my life, I would always endeavor to look for a way they could also help me grow. So looking for the silver lining, right, in every cloud. None of us can or will avoid life storms, but if we learn to collect the raindrops, we too can grow. Yeah, so collect that which nourishes you, and that is those positive thoughts. So try to have more and more as you go through the day, day after day, of the more life-affirming thoughts, right? Thoughts that allow you to feel nourished and alive. You know, hopeful and feeling safe and secure, all that sort of stuff. Am I in the wrong section here? Okay, stop talking and just do your business here. Okay, mouse, because I can't talk and do something like this at the same time. Mouse, where are you, mouse? And it's not, I don't know why they didn't put it alphabetically once you're in this right section. See, they don't put it alphabetically. Don't want to make it any simpler than it could be, right? No. Oh, I wouldn't want to do that. Bear, earthworm. Oh my goodness. There's mouse. Okay. It's a detail-oriented, small-minded, nitpicky, nervous character. Energy. Ooh, the mouse has an innate desire to tend to the details. It often spends its days fixing, preparing, organizing, and scrutinizing. That's what we do, right? Unfortunately, because remember, 63,000 thoughts a day, and 90% of that is negative in nature. Scrutinizing, critical. Unfortunately, a mouse personality doesn't notice when they've gone too far. Soon they begin to have a limited and fearful vision of life, which is what we do, and try to control every detail. And then we become control freaks, or we give up and we just live by default after that, because we just feel like we can't make anything happen. Just like I said from the past, if we try to put a too large of a goal that really isn't practical or believable, we're going to fail. And then it's going to confirm that, oh, I can never make anything happen. I can't manifest. I've tried. Well, we might have tried with being too gregarious about it in such a way that we were setting ourselves up for failure. So this can be quite a painful experience for controlling the every detail for both the mouse and those around them. When mouse energy is at play, step back for a moment. It may be time to find a more purposeful project to delve into, one that's worthy of your exacting eye. So again, it's like just knowing what's realistic, what's practical, what can you do, just like the one bite at a time of the elephant. Which small bite can you take now? What small step can you take now? When it's in balance, it's organized, resourceful, and prepared. When it's out of balance, it's busy with no purpose. To bring it into balance, a meaningful project will help. Okay, excellent. So this is what we're talking about, Taurus. we're talking about you being able to manage something that may feel like it's a little bit too big, too cumbersome, too overwhelming for you. And you may be seeking shelter in your in your rain, seeking shelter in your rain, in the rain of emotions, right? By just either being paralyzed or trying to control things that, of course, it's never going to turn out good for you, trying to be a control person, because you're controlling others too. And there's always usually resistance when it comes to that. So you're just not going to be able to use your resource, the rain, your emotions, because you're going to be so overwhelmed and feeling like, what's the point? Pointless, right? So it's about harnessing the rain and allowing it to nourish you instead. So whatever it is that you're feeling overwhelmed with, allow yourself to sit in it and say, what can I do right now? Or what could I do at least starting tomorrow? What can I do tomorrow? Right? What small thing could I do tomorrow in order for me to make a transition from whatever it is I'm not experiencing to whatever it is I want to experience? We have 17, which is the star. Yeah, the star card. Yay! Lovely card to start off with. Yes. 3, that is the Empress. Yes, the Empress. Wow. Good card so far. 2 major arcanas. Ace of Meals, which is Ace of Pentacles. Another fantastic card. 8 of Tools is the 8 of Swords, I do believe. Let me see. 8 of Tools is 8 of Swords. Yeah. Okay. And then we have the 4 of Tools, which is the 4 of Swords. You know, taking time to do a little mending, like one stitch at a time, kind of. You have a project to sew up, you just do it one stitch at a time, right? And don't stress over it, but you probably will. I mean, I can tell you, don't stress over it all day long, but we always do. 3 of Tools is the 3 of Swords. Getting back to fixing something, the repair of something that was not working for you. Well, we got the 8 of Drinks, that's the 8 of Cups, walking away from an investment. And the investment would be like that, those subconscious beliefs, like I was talking about, the pessimism, which is clearly under the 8 of Tools here. Sandwiches, this is 16, so it's the Tower. Wow. It's strong energy here right now, but thank goodness you've got a new beginning that is inspiring. You have good news. It's inspiring. You're taking action, one stitch at a time. And then we have Cupid, which is 6. That's a wedding agency with the Lovers. Wow. Okay, having a choice. The High Priestess, using your imagination. Death, here's your death and transformation. You got a lot of major arcanas here. 7 of Horse Race. 7. Oh, that's the Chariot. Okay, the Chariot. And then the 9 of Meals, 9 of Pentacles. Perfect. 9 of Pentacles. What's this? 12. 12 is I can never remember these ones. Oh, it's the Hangman. So we don't need that. And they got the High Priestess. Wait a minute. We got the High Priestess twice in here? Huh. I didn't know that. Beautiful, sensational. High Priestess. This is the High Priestess. She's very chic. And it says chic here. Chic, chic, chic. Very chic. Okay. Yeah. Taurus. Va, 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 boom. Okay, so we know that the Mouse is the one that's nervous and, draws a lot of the anxious energy that makes them scurry around, get organized into, hoard and all this other stuff that just gets them into a frenzy of trying to control their environment. But this is the energy you don't want to be in, and this is what you've been in. Okay, so you've been taking shelter possibly in this kind of the rain energy of the emotions, or just feeling a lack of something, like I said. So I've already explained all that. The tower is that it's like it's caused a tower moment or an event or tower experience. And this tower moment thing, I don't know about that. It's more than just a moment, right? So it's caused something that it had to come down. It had to come down, and the reason why it came down is because it needed to be shook up, so that things could, as they fall, you know, as the dust falls, right? It settles back in a different place. It's not ever going to settle back into the place that it was first sitting. That dust particle was not sitting in the same place it's going to sit when it falls back down to earth after the rubble falls, right? So all your atoms, all your thinking, everything that had to be like have an overhaulment is going to be shook up, and then when it has a chance to settle again, you're going to be in a position where you can become a new thinker. That's the good news right there. New thinker that has, because something has happened, and it could have been catastrophic for you, or just, you know, just very upsetting to that, you know, just very upsetting or catastrophic, whatever. It has caused you to have to rethink, to become a rethinker. Okay, so I've been thinking this way, and look where I am now. I am sitting amongst the rubble, right, of what was, and I haven't gotten anywheres. So it's because it's the past we keep dragging with us all the time. But there is something that you want to experience or accomplish. Experience or accomplish, either one. It's the star. It's the star that is the ultimate gift is given. You know, the wish is granted. Okay, so you've got some action steps to take. Now you've become a different thinker, or you're going to become a different thinker after the tower, if it hasn't happened already. And you're going to be reaching for the stars, basically, reaching towards whatever it is that you have a wish or a desire to experience. And it's going to have you popping out all sorts of new ideas, you know, new ideas or like action steps. What can I do? Like I said, what can I do tomorrow? I want this. I know I don't have this, but I want it, and I don't want to be, you know, trumping my efforts and my desires to move forward towards it by not making, you know, taking reasonable steps towards it. Because if you sit back a day or so and you say, you know, I'm tired of pursuing this right now, I think I'll wait a day or two, that's fine. But during that time, your mind might start going back to a habitual way of saying, you know what, what's the point? I'm not going to get it anyways. It's not going to happen anyways. What's the point? So you really don't, you don't really, at the beginning of pursuing something, you really don't want to give your mind a chance to go there again. You can, however, do that once you have gone quite the distance already. Because if you're going through this journey here, once you've gotten to a journey like, let's say, where the lovers are, right here, lovers, you might just sit back for a bit and say, hey, you know, I've done so much and I feel good. I really see that I'm making headways towards this. You know, and I'm feeling good about the effort I'm putting into it. I'm actually doing something, you know, for your benefit, for your good. You're doing something for you. And you're going to be feeling very positive and optimistic. So for you to take a day or two off, the chances of your mind during that time of no work towards, no effort towards your goal, it's going to have less of a chance for it to throw you back into the old thinking pattern. Okay, makes sense? So yeah, you're going to start thinking, what can I do as the Empress energy? What can I do to make this a successful experience or endeavor, right? And then you've got the Ace of Meals. Well, it's about having starting off on a new path that says there's prosperity, there's great, you know, there's great prosperity and abundance going this way. So I have to keep telling myself there is a you know, if the golden pot at the end of the rainbow, there is one for me at the end of the rainbow. I haven't got there yet, but I'm going there. I am going there. See, that's realistic. I haven't got there yet, but I'm going. And I'm going there inch by inch or stitch by stitch, day by day. So cleaning, 8 of Tools. This is like you cleaning up your mind because, you know, otherwise you stress out about this. Stress out about, because you fall back into that old pattern of habitual thinking of, you're full of shite. I'll just say that all the time, okay? So that you're full of shite, it ain't ever going to happen. You'll know what I mean. And then you say, well, it's one elephant piece at a time, one little piece of the elephant at a time, stitch by stitch, which the 4 of Tools, which is saying, you know what, I've got to put it into the perspective that I'm not going to accomplish this overnight. I'm just not going to accomplish this overnight, and that's okay. Because anything worthwhile pursuing doesn't come like that, right? So I'm not going to accomplish this overnight, so I'm just going to, you know, relax my mind into this. I'm not going to push like with thinking, I got to have it now, I got to have it now with the 8 of Swords, right? Got to have it now, got to have it now. Why isn't this happening fast enough, that sort of thing. So you're going to relax your mind, and even if you have to do something to do that, it could be meditation, it could be yoga, whatever. But you're going to relax your mind and say, just stitch, but keep reminding yourself, stitch by stitch, one small step by one small step, one piece of the elephant by one piece of the elephant, one little piece. Because it's all about you while you're doing this. You're repairing your mind. You're basically repairing your mind with this 3 of Swords. You're repairing your mind because it was broken before. That's why you're in this feeling of want or lack. It's broken from the past. Past attempts have failed. So therefore, your mind is ready to remind you that it ain't going to happen. What do you think why do you think it's going to say to you, why do you think it's going to happen this time when it didn't happen those other times, right? So your mind is in repair. Remember, it's relaxing it into the belief and the motto that says stitch by stitch. Don't go any faster than stitch by stitch at this particular point in time. Don't go any faster than that. One little thing at a time, one little step at a time. Okay, because you'll lose yourself in pessimism. You'll lose yourself because you'll be biting off more than you can chew, and then you'll feel like you failed. So then we've got the 8 of Drinks, and the 8 of Drinks is the 8 of Cups, which is saying I'm moving away from that emotional investment, that habitual thinking, that subconscious underlying default thinking that says you're full of shite. Okay, so you are going to be, you're saying I'm standing up for myself, and I'm going to make the effort to make sure that when I do manifest, well, while I'm manifesting, I'm manifesting with the best possible way of thinking that's realistic and practical. So then we have Sandwiches, which is the Tower. The Tower is like, yeah, it comes down. This whole like repair, you know, your because this is where you're going to be able to start saying, you know, I can take a day or two off. I don't have to keep working so hard towards my goal. I can actually, you know, go to the beach or go to some, you know, go skiing, you know, downhill skiing if it's winter, you know, go downhill skiing or go to the beach and do some water skiing, whatever. Just let your hair down and not, because it's always good to put something that you're working on. Like I remember when was in university, I had to write papers, And so I'm busy typing it all out, you know, everything that's coming to my mind, stuff that I research and all this sort of stuff. I am all typing it all out, putting it all on paper, and then I feel like, okay, I'm done. Well, the professor always says, make sure that you don't hand in your first draft, basically. Put it down for 2 or 3 days, if you got the time, right? Put it down for 2 or 3 days. If you don't have the time, put it down for half a day. At least just get away from it, do something totally different than what you were doing. And then come back fresh-minded, right? And then you're gonna start seeing how your grammar isn't right, or you didn't finish a thought through, you know, that kind of stuff, okay? So you'll see where it needs more work before you hand it in, because you hand it in like that, you're gonna probably get a lousy mark. So anyways, you're walking away, you're making that effort, you're taking those steps to leave that investment, that emotional investment of negative naysaying, like, yeah, the shite part. So then we've got the Tower, where it says, yeah, that's starting to crumble. Your whole, okay, so we identify with our thoughts. So, and remember, there's only like 10% or less being positive thoughts. So what are we identifying with, right? We're identifying with our negative thoughts. Yikes, huh? Had you ever thought of it that way, right? We're identifying with our negative thoughts. So what you want to do is you want to start crumbling, breaking those thoughts down, breaking the numbers of negative thoughts down by perpetually working on correcting the thought that comes in from the back of your mind after you think something positive. But you have to catch what you're thinking. You have to become aware of it, aware of your thinking. Now, it's done. It's done. It's not just it can be done. It is done. People do it all the time. Okay, they become aware of what they're usually thinking, so that they can say, hey, I just caught the way I normally come after with a thought about something I want to think positively about, and it says something like this, and then you say, well, okay, if it's usually something like this, then I'm going to change it up. I always say tweak it a little bit. And then with the Lover's energy, you are making decisions at this point in time, because the Towers come down and you've got choices to make. The choice is to allow yourself to go to default, which is crumbling right now, and put emphasis or focus on the what's crumbling, what is the negative, the habitual ones that we always have fell back onto as what our identity is that the past it's never worked. So that's our identity. It never works. So you've got the choice of either falling back on what you're trying to fix right now, or continue to move forward. Using your imagination, and this is what it's all about. It's using the power that you have within yourself. You ask your inner self, your soul, your God within, whatever. You ask yourself to help you to become aware of, for them to help, for spirit or your soul to help shed the light on any negative patterns of thinking that are still getting in the way of you becoming a master manifester. And then the death and transformation. As you use your imagination, because when you're talking to spirit, you're basically using your imagination, because otherwise, if you're talking to a person, you can see them right there. And even if you're talking to them on the phone, they're there, because you hear their voice and they're there somewhere, right? They're on the other end of the line. But if you're talking to spirit, you just have to imagine that you are actually talking to spirit, and that you can actually receive guidance from. You have to imagine that you're receiving guidance, and you might get physical signs and synchronicities about it. You might very well do that, but sometimes you just have to imagine that spirit is actually hot on the trail of guiding you to exactly what it is you're trying to work towards. Okay, so death and transformation, major death and transformation of the old way of thinking. Isn't that a nice card? That's your near future energy. Nice card. With the lucky horseshoe, you're going forward. There's no stopping you now. You're moving forward to becoming the master manifester of the dreams that you want to accomplish or experience. With the Nine of Pentacles, you are fart friendly. It says here, fart friendly formula. It's the new fart friendly formula. It's a can of beans, right? Yeah, so you are, and it's genuine. You're definitely moving forward into your authentic self of the Nine of Pentacles, your genuine self of the Nine of Pentacles. Independent. You are an independent manifester. I mean, you see those other cards in the tarot where she's standing there. It doesn't have to be a woman. It can be a man standing there with all the pentacles in the tree, and everything's lush and beautiful. There's birds and there's butterflies and bees and all sorts of greenery, tree, shrubs and plants and flowers and all that sort of stuff. She's abundant. She or he's abundant. That's where you're going. You know, you're leaving this behind. You know, that's going bye-bye. That's going bye-bye. This is the new you now. Nine of Pentacles. Just imagine yourself like that. Imagine yourself. I hope this was helpful to you. Take care of yourself. Bye for now.